In the electrifying world of MMA, where fighters rise and fall, there's a rare breed of warriors who steal the spotlight and shatter the hype of their opponents. These are the fighters who have etched their names in history as the ultimate hype stealers. Welcome to the MMA Mayhem. Subscribe and let's dive in. From jaw-dropping knockouts to unexpected upsets, they've redefined the game and sent shockwaves through the sport. Join us on a thrilling journey through the top 10 fighters who turned the MMA world upside down and proved that in this unforgiving arena, fortunes can change in the blink of an eye. Number 10. Leota Macha vs Sakuraba. Leota Macha faced Thierry Sakuraba in an MMA bout, despite the hype surrounding his recent wins against Little Nog and Ricardo Arona. Macha, despite his skills, had not scored high-profile wins in front of a large audience. His performance against Rich Franklin and remarkable finish had gone unnoticed in the United States. In 2003, the MMA landscape was different, with limited exposure compared to today's standards. Macha's fight with BJ Penn outside mainstream promotions further added to his obscurity. In their bout, Macha controlled Sakuraba for most of the first round with his striking style, and in the second round he executed a slick arm triangle choke, ending Sakuraba's momentum. This victory propelled Macha into the spotlight and set the stage for a successful career in the MMA world. Number 9. The Korean Zombie vs Dustin Poirier. Chan Sung-jung, known as the Korean Zombie, gained popularity in the MMA community after a controversial loss to Leonard Garcia and a head kick KO by George Roop. Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, was on a massive hype wave due to the documentary Fightville. He faced Josh Grisby, who was initially scheduled to fight Jose Aldo. Poirier dominated Grisby, building his reputation and the prospect of a title shot. Their fight was a brutal back-and-forth match that lasted until the fourth round. Poirier's victory disrupted his hype train, setting him on a path to a title shot and forever etching his name in MMA history. Number 8. Rose Namajunas vs Paige VanZant. Paige VanZant was on a fast track to stardom. Her ascent in the UFC strawweight division was impressive, and she quickly became a fan favorite. However, her fight against Rose Namajunas posed a significant challenge. Rose, while talented, didn't enjoy the same level of recognition as VanZant. VanZant's rapid rise through the UFC ranks, skipping prelims and landing on the main cards, indicated the organization's eagerness to promote her. Rose, on the other hand, had faced setbacks since her appearance on The Ultimate Fighter. Their fight was expected to be a tough challenge for both fighters, but Rose dominated from the first bell to the final round. It was a one-sided affair, and VanZant showed incredible heart by refusing to quit. Rose's victory marked the end of VanZant's hype train, and she later went on to achieve even more remarkable feats, cementing her place among the elite fighters in the division. Number 7. Cheto Vera vs O'Malley. Sean O'Malley had captured the MMA world's attention from the get-go. He gained recognition early in his career, particularly through Dana White's Contender Series. While Cheto Vera was indeed a skilled fighter, he remained relatively under the radar, and his appearance had drastically changed since his early career. O'Malley had created a massive buzz, and his star power continued to grow. A streak of impressive wins and an electrifying victory over Mark Hominick set him on the path to a title shot. It seemed like all he needed was one more win to secure his spot as a future star. Cheto Vera's well-timed leg kick took O'Malley's momentum away and led to a finish via TKO. Vera's post-fight comments, along with his subsequent victories, elevated his status in the MMA world. He went from being relatively unknown to headlining his own cards, showcasing the classic hype-stealing story. Number 6. Chael Sonnen vs Nate Marquardt. In the early days of Chael Sonnen's MMA career, he wasn't a trash talker, and many people knew little about him. His first stint in the UFC was unremarkable, with a record of 1-2. Even when he returned, he was immediately submitted by Demian Maia. Nate Marquardt, on the other hand, was a recognized name and had only lost to legendary Anderson Silva in the UFC. His impressive performances and reputation made him the heavy favorite against Sonnen. Marquardt was considered the top contender in the middleweight division. However, Chael Sonnen had other plans. He introduced a new level of trash talk leading up to the fight, generating substantial hype. During the fight, he overwhelmed Marquardt with his relentless pace and ground control. The victory propelled Sonnen into the spotlight, earning him a title shot against Anderson Silva. This fight marked a turning point in his career, taking him from relative obscurity to stardom. 5. Anthony Johnson vs Alexander Gustafsson. It was the beginning of 2015, and Alexander Gustafsson was riding high on a wave of popularity. He had recently come close to defeating the pound-for-pound king Jon Jones, and his rematch with Jones was highly anticipated. On the other hand, Anthony Johnson, while a formidable fighter, wasn't enjoying the same level of hype. However, this bout turned the tables. When Johnson heard Gustafsson's corner call for a front push kick, he knew how to counter it, and the result was a knockout that devastated the Swedish fans. Johnson's stock soared, and he was immediately booked to fight Jones, until his career was derailed by a DUI scandal. 4. Nick Diaz vs. Robbie Lawler. In 2004, Robbie Lawler was the golden boy of the UFC, on a rocket ship to stardom with his knockout-heavy fighting style. Nick Diaz, on the other hand, was known as a submission specialist. However, when they met in the octagon, Diaz not only engaged in striking, but also showcased his boxing skills, stunning Lawler and cementing his status as a star. Diaz's cult of personality only continued to grow, and he became a household name, regardless of wins or losses. 3. Wanderlei Silva vs. Kazushi Sakuraba. The early 2000s were the golden era of Pride FC, and Kazushi Sakuraba was undoubtedly the shining star. Often considered the best fighter on the planet, he had achieved the unthinkable, defeating multiple members of the Gracie family and other top fighters, earning him the moniker the Gracie Hunter. On the flip side, Wanderlei Silva, though a respected fighter, was often seen as a distant third in the ultra-competitive 205-pound division. Their clash was the stuff of legend. When Sakuraba and Silva finally squared off, it was a defining moment in MMA history. Silva, known as the Axe Murderer, unleashed a brutal knockout, ending Sakuraba's reign and signaling his arrival as a dominant force in Pride. This fight showcased the unpredictability of MMA, where underdogs can transform into legends and where hype can be stolen in a heartbeat, forever altering the course of a fighter's career. 2. Quinton Rampage Jackson vs. Chuck Liddell. In 2003, Pride's Wanderlei Silva and the UFC's Chuck Liddell were the most anticipated potential matchup. But Quinton Rampage Jackson, relatively new on the scene, upset Liddell, shattering his invincibility. Rampage's victory marked a turning point and placed him on the map as the new top contender. 1. Jorge Masvidal vs. Ben Askren. 2019 was a significant year for Jorge Masvidal, and his rise to stardom was epitomized in his fight against Ben Askren. Askren was 19-0 and had generated a lot of hype with his trash talk. The rivalry between Masvidal and Askren had fans on the edge of their seats. Jorge's flying knee knockout of Askren in just 5 seconds went viral and propelled him to superstardom. This wasn't just a knockout, it was a cultural moment that captivated the world. Thank you for watching, and follow for more.